Environmental Commission meeting of Thursday, February 27, 2025. It is 7:01 p.m. We are live in the council chambers at the municipal building as well as on www.youtube.com/@SpartaTWP/streams. This meeting is called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 10th, 2025 by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. Will everybody please join me in saluting the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emily, roll call, please.
Yes. Deputy Mayor Marjorie Murphy. Chair Kimberly Knoll.
Here.
Vice Chair Neil Sauerwine.
Here.
Christine Dunbar.
Here.
Ted Gall. Christine Rogers.
Here.
Linda Tower. Barbara Kozalka.
Here.
Landon Tanieri.
Here.
Robert Otto.
Here.
And John Groff.
Here.
Thank you.
Ann? We'll give you a minute.
I guess.
Oh, you're gonna sit down there? Okay. Do you want to be like, do you want to call her name again when you're set, just so you can say you're here? Good. Okay.
Deputy Mayor Marjorie Murphy.
Thank
Thank
you. All right, approval of minutes of February 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Thank you, Landon.
I had a couple corrections if we can make.
Okay.
On page 1,
Uh-huh.
second line from the bottom, lead is spelled wrong.
Oh, yes. LEAD, thank you.
Page 2, in the part that says Jenna Black mentioned that Rutgers has 3 source water protection ambassadors. That should say the AmeriCorps New Jersey Watershed Ambassador Program.
AmeriCorps, sorry, say it one more time.
New Jersey Watershed Ambassador Program. And it's spelled right on page 1 if you just wanted to look how it's spelled.
Okay.
On page 3,
Mhm.
under Earth Day,
Yep.
it should be Christine spoke to Kara Johnson from Sparta Middle School.
Yep.
And then 2 lines down, once final dates and times are obtained. So get rid of the S on finals.
Yep.
And then I just wanted to clarify on page 2. So the part where it says it's talking about under reports, and we were talking about the grant and the use of the money. And it says Christine Rogers presented the question if gravel would be tied to a specific action. That's kind of out of context without the beginning part where we were talking about how to use the remainder of the funding. So I feel like we can kind of scrap that sentence.
And then we can also, the sentence after where I mentioned, where it stated that there's mention of no action for bicycling and green.
Or it can just say that we discussed like how to use the remaining funding, because that was
Okay.
kind of just a specific detailed. And I think maybe Neil had brought up about the gravel piece. And that's where my comment came into context, but without that, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay.
Also, the sentence above that, I would say a press release will be released to tap into.
Any other changes? I don't think we need to table approval. Those changes as noted.
They're just material.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did I have a second? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just a second.
Do I have a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
Thanks, Neil. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
And thank you, Emily, for working on this. It's great. We were just saying it's great to have the minutes right after the
Right
meeting.
after the
to
meeting.
then-
Thank you, I
Yeah,
tried.
you're helpful.
Otherwise you forget, right?
Sure.
All right, we had no applications this time. Moving on to public comment. Yes, and actually we can move them. Thank you so much. I don't know why it's far away today. We don't have a time limit, so if you just state your name and it's all yours.
Thank you. Yeah, that works.
There we go.
My name's Alex Birdie. I live at 5 Stonehenge Terrace. Just a question for this committee. Has the deer overpopulation problem been addressed by this committee in recent years? Anyone talk of any deer issues?
It has not been brought up here by the public before, yeah.
Okay,
There was a couple years ago, somebody did bring it up at the town council level,
okay.
but it didn't go through us, I think.
I heard it at one of the more recent council
Oh, you
meetings.
did? Okay.
Yes, I can't remember which one it was, but it was fairly recent. It had been brought up. I don't know, maybe it was you. that-
No, it wasn't me. I've been in this part for 5 years, but just started paying attention more to local politics and the local council meetings, and the environmental committee meetings. But I just want to make it known, at least in my view, that the deer are out of control in this town.
They are.
You can't grow anything in your yard, as you all probably know. If you look in any at least where I live in Sparta, if you look at any wooded area, it's all overbrowsed, 4 feet above the ground, and down is just nothing. It's really, I would say, destroying the local ecology and hurting our diversity, both plant and wildlife, and native plants for that matter. I've watched some of the meetings recently. You guys have mentioned native plants, and yeah, they're gonna have a hard time. If you recommend any type of plants to be planted at a warehouse or new building, they're gonna have a tough time making it, I think. So something to consider there. And also you got the Lyme's disease issues, and I think in the reorganization meeting, the chief of police mentioned that if I recall correctly, the second leading cause of accidents in the town
Yeah.
is animal vehicle collisions. So that's I think just overall it's a quality of life issue for the people, and I'm a little surprised that no one else is really making it an issue locally here. So I just wanted to just bring it to your attention. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate
deer
it.
are a very recognized environmental problem in the whole state because they eat native species and then they don't eat the invasive species, which take over,
Yeah.
obviously. So.
Yeah. So thank you.
Alex,
Appreciate
I just wanted to ask you a question. Did you have any suggestions? I mean, that you've read about that we might be able to think about and throw around? It's so pervasive. That's why we have, deer hunting, still, but we can't have hunting in our municipality and have bullets flying every which way across neighbors' yards. And, the deer away, I've found does help, my plants where I live. But if you put it on very early in the season and just over apply it, they learn to avoid, I think, where you live a little bit. But other people have not had any luck with that at all. I remember the first year that I moved here in 1994, I think it was, or 95, I had the audacity of planting cabbages. I planted ornamental cabbages out front. Didn't even spray them. And I came out the very next morning and there were these little nubs left. So what's going on? They sell them. Why didn't they tell me that, these would be gone within 24 hours? So all of us love the deer, but they are such a problem and disease spreaders. So if you hear of anything that has worked for other communities our size, please share it. The only thing I've heard that seemed to work in Connecticut, they fenced off, maybe 40 acres or so, and the deer could still get into the area, but it was very limited. And they actually gave the deer birth control.
Yeah.
And that really helped. That really helped. Why they don't do that with the bears, I don't know, because they trap them and they tag them and they do other things like take measurements on them. They could do a vasectomy right there on the male bears. But I think we all know the answer to that.
So in my research, Saddle River in Bergen County, they have a annual deer hunt in the town. They partner with I think it's Bow Hunters Unlimited. I don't know how it works. I don't know how much it costs. If you Google it, you'll find it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Princeton, I think has one, and I think Livingston, some other just towns. Just in my
But
you know,
bows, not guns.
bows, yeah, bow hunting. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Come back again.
Yeah.
Thing they do not eat is vinca. That is busted.
Vinca, yeah.
That's, yes, for sure, Vinca.
I've lived here my whole life, and they even sometimes get used to it. They may pull it out and then they spit it out so I can replant it.
I,
Yeah,
I plant that every year.
yeah, me too. But it is difficult, and it seems to ebb and flow with the deer population here.
They don't eat herbs.
Always been that way.
Yeah, don't eat herbs. It's also funny that we have multiple deer populations because Lake Mohawk is way worse than the deers by me. I actually have a lot of native plants, and I have grown tomatoes without a fence in my yard, and they don't eat them. Yeah,
They come up on my deck and.
I know. And it's actually different herds. Like up here, it's different herds than it's down here, and they don't really mix. But yeah, the ones in Lake Mohawk, yeah, we should
And
really,
there-
we
there
can
are
explore
places
again.
Like Mohawk says you're not supposed to feed them. Yes, I know people do, but that, and because they are so territorial, they'll keep coming back. With the same doe, come and have her to fawn next door every single year.
There's your opportunity to give her birth control.
Yeah, get some food and slip it in. She won't even notice,
in
right?
the
She's so hungry.
Thank you. We'll talk about it more. We'll add it to the agenda and see if we can come up with some ideas. All right, moving on to reports. Who would like to go first? Planning board or trails or,
I wasn't at the last planning board.
okay.
I don't really have a report.
Well, we heard the Nicolak NPS.
Oh, yeah.
So there were a lot of, well, I guess what I'd like to see, maybe it's something we could work on that would be good preparation. When we looked at that, we recommended stormwater controls, native plantings, stuff like that. And
And lighting, there's 3 things.
yeah, so I brought up lighting, and they agreed to a lot of that stuff. But what I think it would be good, just with how that went, if we could kind of formalize our review process, and I've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think it could be kind of good to have like a standard form for the applicant, environmental impact statement, native plant schedule according to like whatever our current guidelines are, commercial lighting plan, stormwater management, and then, any justification for impervious, pervious, because, like some of these lots are like Pop's Bagels we talked about. That was good. They reduced quite a bit, well, for what they could with the impervious. And they were putting plantings, there's nowhere to plant in the ground, but they can accommodate some plantings on the impervious. So just, I think if environmental is up for it, I think it would be kind of a good thing if we could try to create like a packet for the planning board where instead of us just saying like, oh, could you work on the impervious, or the pervious, could you work on the native plants? Just formalize the packet that goes along with the planning professional and the engineering professional, so that when the planning board is looking at that, they can see exactly what our concerns are. And I mean, spoon feed it, because I'm there looking at it too. It's just hard because we're going through a lot of different aspects, a lot of variances were granted, and there's a reason obviously for variances, or there's a reason for guidelines, right? And controls. And so it would be helpful to just be able to break that down and look at that. So if anyone's up for doing that, I was gonna try to create something, but honestly, I don't even know how it goes, like for the application for a commercial property. I'd like to start with that form, what does the applicant have? And then just see if there's something we could build into that.
Is that possible to get one, Emily? Because I don't know what those look like either. If I come in and say I'm going to build something, I want to do a development, what forms do I get? Or are they on the website maybe?
Some of them are on the website, yeah, but some of them we have printed out in the zoning department. But I can find out for
Okay.
sure which ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
It'd be good to see what that packet looks like, and then you're talking about insert something in there that's like.
yeah, because I mean it's hard because every zone has different things you can do in them.
Okay.
Right.
They have different requirements and guidelines, and to keep that straight, to do the service to the township as well as the applicant, I think it would be really helpful if environmental, as the advisory board that it is, could help do some of that heavy lifting to prepare something. But then, if we hit it right at the application stage, there's no surprises for the applicant. And then
Makes it
in
easier
theory,
for
then whoever takes a seat on the dais, it's just, this is the structure, follow it. I think it would be good, so.
Like a checklist that you're.
Well, like a checklist,
Yeah.
but like with rationale,
Obviously.
well, yeah, but like, oh, you're allotted this pervious. What's, for instance, like, you're gonna grant a waiver based on a hardship. Is it a true hardship? Is it a hardship because it would be nice to have a bigger building, let's say,
Yeah.
versus the shape of the lot is super, hard to fit a normal building on, or there's like an established drainage bifurcating that. We should be able to, and I think we can. You guys are all like professionals with relevant backgrounds, so we could help the planning board immensely, kind of saying, this is what we think based on, one, our local knowledge, and two, our professional expertise, and just the fact that we've taken the time to look at this. That would be invaluable, because we have our professionals, that's great, but we're here for a reason too. And I'd love to, I would love to have that right there. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, the minor site plan committee does have a checklist. You've probably seen it, but that's more to do with the parking, how much parking they need, and the signage, the type of signage, the size of signage. But I was thinking that the new applicants found that helpful, at least some of them, that aren't in a rush just to get it done. But what I've seen here is that the planning board in the past has really just allowed the bigger buildings to go in and the waivers to go in, rather than less permeable surface and more plants, which is what we need over in that area where our aquifer is. So I'm hoping that we can have an influence and reverse that trend, in the future. There's a reason for our ordinances and the NJDEP ordinances, cut off 1,000 square feet, but they've always been, I think, encouraged by their team to try for more, bigger building, more space. in a very inappropriate area.
Okay, yeah, let's look at that. If we could get the applications and then we'll take a look.
And yeah, I mean, I know there's a checklist, so I'm sure you've seen some of that checklist where not every section gets filled out. So that would be, we could kind of help and say, this isn't complete, or zoning, application process could say, we can't accept this until it's complete. But we have to kind of backfill all that structure in there. And yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I'm not well versed in all the rationale for all those different guidelines. And things were done a certain way in the past doesn't mean we can't refer to, current science and best practices and evolve from there. And I know there was a concern about environmental having a voice. This would certainly give us, a voice if we built in the structure to the process. All right.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, and it'll save, for the applicant, it's gonna save so much time for the professionals, or for them paying their professionals, because there won't be any surprises. There won't be, can you do this, could you do that? There will be some of that, that's, of course, but this is an opportunity, I think, and it starts right here, is what should Sparta look like and what's reasonable? Yeah, it's just, I mean, if we're not doing that, and then, the stuff like the proposed tree ordinance and native plants and all that, then it's kind of baked in. So it's not, you did all this and oops, like now let's just provide it from the onset and build it out from there. All right, thanks, guys.
Marjorie, do you want to go next or Landon?
I can be very brief because we
Okay.
haven't met since our last meeting. So our next meeting is going to be March 6th, Thursday
Okay.
at 7 o'clock here. And the good news to report is that the grant transfer was accepted, and we're already sent out the purchase orders to the vendor. So that's all being processed, and then when that does get delivered, it'll go through the in-house team over at the Parks Department and Maintenance Department, and I'm excited to see that get installed probably in the springtime as the weather starts to shift a little bit. And the exact locations are finalized and measured out by the internal team and stuff. So I'll keep updating everybody on that grant process, in addition to all of the activities that are going on as well. So I'm really happy that that's going forward, and there'll be a little bit of discussion on at that meeting there on what we can do with that leftover money, as we were given an opportunity and encouraged to use that money to help promote it in some regards. So if you're interested in being a part of that discussion, feel free to send me an email or be there in about a week or so
How
time.
about like we commemorate the installation by like a memorial walk or some kind of like group walk or something? And then we could do pictures and a press release or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you already thought of that idea.
I love all ideas, so please. The more the better, and then we can narrow it down and then invite everyone out. So,
Yeah, that'd be great.
so thank you all for bringing this to the attention of the committee, and that's all I have
That
to
was so
report.
good. I'm glad. All right. You're up, Deputy Mayor. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man.
Thing is that we're setting a precedence with the signage throughout town and not allowing any kind of separate school, fire department, of having any kind of digital signage on properties. One did get through for the charter school last night. I don't think they need it, but it did pass. But there was another one being proposed on Route 15, which did not pass, which was, that it's very, very distracting. But you start one and then it starts to go throughout. There is one out there. I do not know how that got passed. There's just that little red sign on a little restaurant that's across from ShopRite. I don't know how that got there and where that came from, but it needs to be checked into. I mean, maybe I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know that I can say right now, but
So it's just something that's dark skies.
Yeah.
With the lighting, which is very, very important. And it's even the signage that got passed for the charter school, supposedly it's gonna only be lit during school hours, we'll see, let's hope. But, yeah, it doesn't ruin the sky.
Yeah.
It
And
Well, it's also-
driver
yeah.
safety.
distracted driving and
distracting.
and
So-
advertising, right? So
Yeah.
Is that the charter school on Route 94? I haven't been by there.
The kids don't ever walk, I mean, I travel that road. Back and forth. I don't know, but that's a huge concern in that area. It's gonna ruin our skylines.
Yeah.
But, town council this week was very, what we did pass was very kind of exciting that, to pass an ordinance to keep the fields across from ShopRite for recreational and fields and farming only. We changed the ordinance.
You did. Oh, that's so wonderful. That's where the sunflowers were? Oh,
And we did a traffic study that showed that the traffic is way over capacity at the time now. And it's been that forever. We don't need personally speaking, but the development out there has maxed for what it should be, for the road into the road and whatnot. So it has passed.
and it was health, safety, and well-being of the community, basically.
Correct. And with Chief McCarrick saying the number one traffic incidences and accidents is right in that corridor.
Yeah.
And mostly at that traffic light, and a lot of it is distraction. I don't see many unfortunately, I don't see many animals out there, even though on the other side of it that there are horses, but it's people being distracted, and so signage and more businesses is just the roads can't. So yes, we did pass an ordinance that is for farming and recreation.
oh, it's wonderful. Is there any chance that a farmer's market could go there? Because I know that they're really out of room behind the professional medical complex, and they wanted to expand and keep it going.
That's a thought, but that would need to be in front of the zoning and that I have no,
Just an idea.
that's a great idea.
yeah.
I don't know, but right now it was in a flux of whether it would be sold or not. And I don't know. Depends on the owners, I guess.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing up some of the zoning things, because I just want to make a PSA based off what you said. If anyone sees any concerns of a zoning violation or something that seems out of the ordinary, definitely call our zoning department and they'll send an officer out and confirm it. Because we have a lot of people that have all different eyes and perspectives at all different times around the town. So if just anyone watching, it's helpful if there's something that seems not normal, just give them a call and they'll confirm within their own records and then make a site visit if needed.
Thanks.
But I think also understand, I feel like I have to say that I think zoning gets a lot. So there's a struggle there too. Maybe that's something that town council can work on. Maybe we could get another zoning officer. We could probably, if we start doing violation fees, we could probably pay for that position, right? Okay. That's typically what happens in other towns. Okay. They should just pay for themselves.
All right. Thank you so much. Master Subcommittee? Master
We-
Plan Subcommittee, sorry.
Master Plan Subcommittee, yeah. We will be meeting for the first time this year, next Thursday.
Okay.
At 6:30.
Awesome. All right.
The same night as the Trails meeting?
Yeah, so prioritize that one, I guess, for sure.
Yeah.
But if anyone from the public, then you can come by ours. So continue, Neil, sorry.
That's it.
That's the
Oh,
first
okay.
meeting of the year, so yeah.
Anything about the trails email?
Oh, the one you sent.
So I'm going to submit that survey. I appreciate you you sending
Yeah.
that out, Rob. And if anyone else wants to, we can maybe make a PSA and I'll bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if Neil was gonna get to it, but I just want, did I send it to you? I might have only sent it to you.
Yeah, it was both of us.
Okay, yeah, so.
Yeah, I filled it out. I forgot to mention it.
It was just more good stuff to kind of crib ideas off, right?
Yes. Great.
Yeah, it's a survey that's currently being done by the
Trail survey. I printed that out.
yeah, the Trail
It's
Improvement.
called
Analysis.
this one, New
Yes.
Jersey Trail User Survey. So you can just Google that and it comes up. And it's designed, it says, to help the agency better understand the needs, priorities, and economic impact of existing and potential trail users. And the results are going to be used to shape like the funding and the priorities that the state's going to be looking at for statewide trails. So you can just Google it, it comes up, and you have until March 31st to fill it out. Yep. New Jersey Trail User Survey.
User, okay.
One that I sent you in the
It's a new one, so there.
new
I know. I was confused. So
Yeah.
it seems like the state's putting a lot of attention to this. So especially given our region, it would be great to get a good Spartan representation.
Did I miss anybody for reports? I think we're good. Okay. Moving on to unfinished business. So the Sustainable New Jersey certification, I heard it got submitted. Yay. Thank you, Christine and Neil. And who else? Emily helped and who else helped
Chris.
on that?
Barbara,
Barbara?
Barbara,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much. And Chris-
Michelle too.
Yes.
Of
Thank
course.
you. And we haven't heard, when do we expect to hear back?
I think it's at April.
Okay.
We have, it was like 160 points in there for actions that we actually put items under. And then there was another 25 points for something that's going to be coming forward in Q3. So that'll be in the second half of this year. But they're going to just give us feedback and then approve the actions that we did enough for. And then any ones that we need to add something, we can do that in the next round that's due in May.
Okay. And so we still do want to pursue the land use pledge though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The update on that is I don't think it's made it to the town council yet. I think it's with the town lawyer being reviewed still. The land use pledge. Okay. Any other on that one? Okay. Earth Day celebration updates, Christine. Thank you.
We're kind of in the same spot as last time. Proposed
no.
date is still May 3rd from 10 to 2. I reached out to Kara Johnson at the beginning of the week. Haven't heard anything back. So
I have some contacts at the Board of Ed. Should I reach out to them?
she said it didn't need to go through Board of Ed anymore, that we have the
Okay.
approval. So I think it's just someone within their office.
Okay.
So I'm going to follow up with her again before our next meeting.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't want to ask, then I'll call them directly
yeah, I
myself.
can
I don't
ask you.
understand why this is like taking so long to just
Yeah.
know what the price is. But proposed date is still May 3rd.
Yeah,
So
and on the price question, we're still working on what our budget is too. Okay,
Yeah, we think it's about like $1,300 or $1,600, but we're finalizing everything.
okay. And then we just spent Ann Jack membership,
Right.
which was, how much was
About
that?
$450.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then are we left with like $1,000 or a little less than that?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, we're
Okay.
just finalizing all that, but
Okay.
approximately, yes.
All right. Speaker presentation schedule.
on March 13th, we're going to have a speaker come from Rutgers. They run the Sussex County Agricultural Office, and they're going to be presenting about native plants. So that'll be a presentation entitled Plant This, Not That. So kind of focusing on native species and what not to plant that would be invasive.
Yeah, we should ask her the deer question.
Yeah,
See if she has any suggestions. What does Rutgers recommend?
yeah, exactly. We can definitely bring that up.
And I am still working on the green amendments for the future speaker. It kind of depends on what the budget is. But I did share that we were targeting, I think it was April, whatever our April meeting dates were, or May. So we'll see if we get that speaker, if we're able to get that speaker in too. Otherwise, we need a fourth speaker, right? Still, if we can't get that one, Christine?
Yeah, we'll do. Well, Lisa Chiarella will be our March speaker, so then we would have one for the next quarter. So anytime April, May, June.
Okay. All right, I'll keep pursuing that. New Jersey Salt Watch update.
Oh. Hooray. Margie, I have something for you. I mean, Deputy Mayor. Sorry. You're very welcome. This is sort of an update to what we've been doing here in Sparta. So I just want to go through just very quickly how this came about, this project. And it is tied into the Sustainable New Jersey action that we did submit last week, Winter Best Practices to Reduce Road Salt Impacts. Within that, there are a few choices on activities, and we decided that one of them, we can only earn 15 points. And there's like 4 activities, so we had to choose which ones we were going to focus on. So the activity, one of the activities that we chose to focus on that really involves our green team and our EC is the New Jersey Salt Watch Study, which is 5 points. And you'll see that right next to that there is an address to the New Jersey Watershed Watch. That's where you would go to order your test strips to find out more information about the program, to submit your data. It's all on one nice little site that is sponsored by NJDEP and the Watershed Institute.
Christine, can I interrupt you for a second? Did you have an extra one of these? Like, can I take Ted's and give it? Or no, that's something else.
Yeah, something else.
Okay.
Are we missing one? Who's
No,
missing?
I was going to share it with
Oh,
our
yeah.
guest here.
Let's see. Maybe I have something in here.
I wrote all over mine, or else I'd give you
I'm
mine.
sorry, I don't.
Here, you can.
I don't,
Oh,
but you,
thanks, Emily.
I was going to say you can have mine after done, so.
I wrote all over mine otherwise.
So anyway, I got involved in this in 2022 because one of my jobs is to go around to the towns within our region and to engage the residents to take care of their natural resources, and particularly their water. And so I needed to know if there was a problem in my watershed, which is the Pollenskill watershed specifically. And so I went to the Clean Water Act integrated report, and I was shocked to see that, and you can see up in the corner there in Sussex County on the little map on the first page, in sort of a purple-blue color, there's Ogdensburg and there's Sparta. And I was very taken back and upset that Sparta was being flagged, its waters were being flagged for chloride and total dissolved solids impairments. So that's what kind of got me started on my journey in 2022, and I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to find out why are all these other places not impaired, but Sparta in Sussex County is. So the goal the goal for this project is sort of threefold. It's to educate and engage residents about the environmental impacts and to encourage responsible salt use on their own properties. Another is to identify road salt damaged surface waters, which we are doing by our monitoring of our surface waters. And I have gleaned our data from the past 2 years that we've been participating in this project that's on the remaining sheets. And then ultimately, and we're nowhere near here because there isn't even I don't know any municipality yet that has a resolution like that commits the town to reduce road salt and optimize winter maintenance yet. I just checked at the ANJEX site today, and I didn't see one that, we could read and discuss. So that's sort of my ideas gleaned from this action, Sustainable Jersey Action, and that they hope that, we'll do. So on the first page, you also see this sort of chart, and those are the measurements of chloride, and you can see that it goes from low all the way to extremely high, and particularly sensitive, what I've learned is the 230 parts per million, which is impaired high in the middle of the chart right here, because that's when ecological systems start breaking down and you see impairment in the development of aquatic life. And this is well documented, okay? So anyway, down at the bottom, well, you can see I tried to squeeze in a link to the map, which I wasn't very successful in doing. But the address continues on the last page. Anyway, I can send you electronic copies of this, of course, if you're interested, so that you can go and see this map. So I made this map, and all of the orange pins are places that we're monitoring. Isn't that wonderful? And then I also, because I originally had the goal, because we have 5 watersheds in Sparta, that we should be monitoring all of the watersheds, because we're the headwaters of all of the Passaic. We're the headwaters of the Muskie, the Wallkill especially, that's our biggest, watershed, then the Pollenskill and the Pequest. So I was figuring that we should show some attention, since people downstream get what we send them, that all these watersheds need to be cared for in some way. So I put down the yellow pins in areas that I thought would be doable, and that would also cover the Passaic, which we don't have done, and also the Pequest. And you can barely read that the Pequest is Perona Farms, and then there's a site on Andover Road. The site should be safe to access. And then the Wallkill River via Mohawk Avenue and Sparta Lake, Fox Trail Lake. So
Which one is, I've done Sparta Lake. up
I know
Glen
you
Road.
have. I have to
Oh,
look
but
at
is
those
there-
boundaries.
What's Fox Trail Lake?
Trail Lake, yeah. It's
All
one
right,
of,
I'll
it's
go
one
look.
of those maybe out a little farther.
Okay, I'll go look at that one.
Okay. So.
Can you, sorry to interrupt, can you remind us when we're supposed to keep testing until? Is it March 1st?
Well,
Or is
if,
there more time?
if you go to order the test strips on top where it says NewJerseyWatershedWatch.org/road salt/, if you go to order them and Aaron Stretz gets back to you and says, I don't have any strips left, or we're ending this in April, because last year was such a warm year. She extended it into April, actually, and she
Okay.
said, just keep doing what you can and get more
Okay.
baseline data and everything.
Because I still have a couple strips left because I ran out and then I ordered more, so now I could do some more. So
Okay.
keep going beyond March 1st.
Right.
Okay.
Right, keep going beyond March 1st. I
Okay.
would say that in April, well, by April, we'll probably get a notification from the Watershed Institute saying, thank you all for participating this year. And we'll have a summary webinar in the fall so we can find out how the state did overall.
And then I think last year also in the spring, we published the results through a press release and on the website, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple of places that I was sort of concerned about. And then I highlighted them in sort of a yellowish orange color. So the thing to ask ourselves with these, the Station Park Bridgewater or the East Mountain Strip Mall area or the Walco River downstream from the high school. The first thing is that we need more data. We need data through time, 3 or 4 years to see if this is a consistent pattern. And then if we see that there is a pattern here and it's not just due to normal fluctuations, we need to start, or I need to ask myself and find out who actually is responsible for those locations to be salting, to help them learn best management practices, right? So for instance, a strip mall probably has a private company. And SAC, the Sparta Athletic Club, they have a private company, I'm sure, do their parking lot. They're over by the field house. So I think that, encouraging them, first of all, I don't think they see it as a problem because they don't know this data. And they don't really expect that they should have to, or know how to change what they're doing. That's the basic thing. And everybody can do a little bit better. That's the idea. Because all of this water, that's coming down is, especially in the Pollenskill, is going right into the Germany Flats area. Okay, all the salty water.
So I noticed Lake Grinnell, there was a lot of testing done last year and none this year. We don't know who was doing that testing, do we?
That was me
Oh.
last year.
Well, good job.
I did a
Yours
bunch of
slacker this
testing
year,
there
though.
last year. And even when it was the height of winter storms, it really didn't fluctuate much at this
Yeah.
lake, even though it's right next to the road. So that was kind of surprising. But I guess also the one from this year that is flagged multiple times, right, on the naughty list is the Station Park Bridge. That's also mine.
Oh,
So both times I had the same strategy because I've done a lot of work in my job for assessing, when we're assessing salt and the impact of chloride on rivers, we really need to have enough data during and after winter storms in order to really say something concrete with the data. Last year wasn't as bad of a winter as it's been this year. So we would expect to have more elevated numbers, I would say, this year than last year. But I was surprised by these results myself because I went a couple of these times were 2 days after when we had the storm. So
Okay.
by then it should be coming down.
yeah.
This wasn't even the height of I came immediately when they salted, kind of thing. That's not the result. It's after the storm. So you would expect that it would spike and then it would start coming down. The fact that it's still lingering and high after the storm is concerning.
Okay.
So we need to have more data from everyone who's participating after the winter storm itself. That's really important, and it's especially useful on days, it's not always just when it's really snowy that's concerning, like the ice storm that we had. That's when they really salt the road, when it kind of fluctuates and goes from, freezing rain to snow to, when it changes, because that's when they have to salt the road because it becomes a real
Right.
hazard. If it's just a snowstorm and there's really no ice mixed in, even if we get a foot of snow, sometimes there's not a lot of salt that's applied because they don't need to. They can just plow and it would clear the roads.
Okay.
So I think the more data we can have, it's good to have like baseline data on a sunny day, at least one of your strips, so we know what kind of baseline levels are for that time. But also, if you requested, 4 or 5 strips, try to get some after the winter storms.
For the storms.
Just
Okay,
so we
like
can
1 or
see.
2 days after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking about that too. When the last storm we had, it stayed, the temperature stayed below freezing for a long time. So you're not really going to get any spike in chloride when things are still frozen, right?
Right. It's usually
It's either after
it's
a thaw
usually it's usually either when it's right around the freezing mark and they're applying a lot of salt, or it's when it warms up sometimes and all the snow melts. That's also when you get a spike, but usually that's like kind of a quick spike and it goes down. So yeah, I mean, I purposely, mine are all high because I went, purposely during like when I thought they would be applying salt and when I saw them on my own road applying salt. But yeah, if we could have more data like that, I think that would be more compelling. So the more we can collect over time, I think the better.
Okay. I've been struggling with the lakes. They've been frozen. So it's been
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to
Yeah.
get
Lake
lake.
Liddell, are there many drains that go into the lake on the road?
The spot I was sampling last time was right where the lake went into a small stream, but it is right next to the road and it really never spiked. It was the same level
the whole
every
time.
time. Yeah.
Potentially, do we think it's like a geographical thing with that location, just because that road is so
Not
thin
sure.
and not maybe as traveled in the
Yeah,
winter time?
maybe. I'm not sure.
There's going to be other mitigating factors. Obviously, we
course.
can't control this, but like flush rates, volume of water, depth of the reservoir, right? And then presumably we're testing from near surface, but salty water is going to, so
Oh, is
But-
salty water going to be sink
Dense.
down to the bottom?
yeah, it's
The-
denser.
In the procedure, you're supposed to rinse your cup 3 times and then go halfway down the water column
Yeah,
and sample
but
from
to the
there, and that's just the
bottom.
standard procedure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not the bottom, not the top, but it kind of in the middle.
Well, yeah, but the water column, but that's assuming. I mean, all these like I looked at some of this, and I wasn't gonna say something about Morris Lake. I noticed this is quite low, and so a part of me, just based on what we know about Morris Lake, I would be curious if Newton has any historic testing data that would help quantify
That's a good idea.
the just historic nature of that. And clearly, they would probably have concerns, but they'd have rigor behind the data that may or may not have been collected. I'd just be curious about that,
Yeah.
and then compare that to some of the other.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's ask him.
But I don't know if you want to ask because
Maybe we ought to wait a while.
What do you need it
I'm not going to ask their lawyer. I'm going to ask
yeah.
their water safety people.
So anyway, thank you to everyone, and yeah, and I'll try my best to keep following through on this project. I think it's a really great one. There's a lot that we can do with it. I mean, we can even invest in real-time stream monitoring stations in trouble spots also that have sensors for conductivity, and temperature and, all of that. So just have fun. Just have fun and be safe when we're doing it. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Dark sky and lighting ordinance. Everybody was supposed to look at the ordinance from last time. I did not.
It's a lot. To be fair, it's a lot. I got busy with other stuff too.
I didn't get to really look at it.
But I would just keep taking a look at it. I think it feeds into what all I did was I pulled out some stuff and tried to consider it with applications. So just as a test, and I suggested timing based on those best practices, as well as a limit on the color temperature, which I was, you know, it was agreed to. And then I got another example of this. It's not something that I think this committee probably wants to spend time on. I think this is more in depth. It's way more in depth, but just interesting because there's also another aspect of light, like light nuisance. So it's covered a little bit in that, like, one of the 5 principles, again, of dark sky stuff. So it kind of gets into, again, the violations and reporting and all that stuff. But I think for our purposes, this would help help us frame kind of best practices that we could put forth for applicants. So that's where I kind of would see that going. And then when we're doing in process applications, we would at least have a structure that we could base our recommendations off of, that are then therefore based on best practices and current scientific research.
All right, so let's plan on everybody make time this next 2-week period, and when we get together next time, we can make some recommendations and then take a vote on if we're moving forward, okay? All right, any other resolutions or ordinances that I might have forgotten? I think we've covered, oh, sorry, Linda couldn't be here tonight, but she is going to be sending me via email a final draft of the native plant one. So I'll bring that to the next meeting also. All right, new business. I have an email from Mitchell Morrison, who's organizing Bagot Day this year on April 5th and 6th. I already let him know that at least some of us would be going, because I'll go. But we need to let him know how many people by the 15th and what area we want to do it in. Your ogre of a chairperson, I don't know if people remember 2 years ago when we did it in the rain. We'll try to avoid that. We were soaked. Oh
That
my
was
God.
fun.
It was pouring rain.
That was
For anyone who
last year,
doesn't
wasn't
know
it?
What's Bagot
Oh,
Day?
I'm sorry.
That was last year.
Was that last
Yeah.
year? Okay. Bagot Day is where you organize going around and picking up litter. And so you usually pick a specific area and organize a group to go pick it up. And you all do it on the same day, but you're not all in the same area. Like, we don't have 50 people going to the same trailhead or whatever. Last year when we did it, what do you call that interchange there?
Blue Heron.
Yeah, we
Blue
did the
Heron.
Blue Heron, yes, we did up and down the exits. And then we've also done, and I noticed it was really, when I came off of 15 by Stop and Shop just recently, I noticed how bad that was too. We've done that one in the past too. I think the snow hides it and then everything melts and then you see it all, but yeah. So we do need to let Mitchell know by the 15th which area we want to do and who thinks they're going to participate.
I usually do that with a friend, and we do the behind the Mohawk Avenue School,
Okay.
that stretch of the Wallkill.
Yeah.
I have the email from Mitch, so
Do you want to do that one with this group or you're going to do it with your friend?
I do it with my friend usually.
Okay.
So
All right.
You can go.
So,
We can spread out more maybe.
okay. All right. So let me know if you're interested and if you're around on April 5th and 6th. We don't do it both days. We'll either do the 5th or the 6th. We're not going to do 2 days. Figure an hour and a half. Okay.
6 would be ideal for me, but
Yeah. Okay. Landon's available on the 6th.
I'll go out by myself if anyone can. So I'll get some friends together.
All right. Anybody have any other new business?
A couple things.
Sure.
ANJEC 2025 Fundamentals for Effective Environmental Commissions training is coming up on March 18th, 19th, and 20th. So you've probably all gotten the emails for that. Another one is the Toxic Plastic Action Session, which is concurrent with our meeting right now. That's another ANJAC meeting. I registered for it, so it'll be recorded, I'm sure. And it's, this is related to something we mentioned last week about plastics and, where did I see in the minutes? About Jim Zepp asking us to look into that.
Yep.
So this session is titled "Learn How You Can Take Action Locally to Reduce More Plastic Pollution with Skip the Stuff Ordinances to Remove Single-Use Items from Takeout Food Orders," which is a great idea.
I love that one.
I
Yeah.
do too. I hate getting chopsticks and plastic
Yeah.
forks and all
And
that
how
stuff.
many packets of duck sauce do I have in my house? Like 3 years old. I
Yes,
swear.
exactly. And also support a statewide law to reduce excessive package waste with the Packaging Product Stewardship Act.
Yes.
So that's another good thing.
When is that, Neil?
That was tonight. So
Okay,
it-
then.
Well, it'll
It'll be
be,
recorded,
yes,
yeah.
the
yeah.
ANJAC saves, it might be on YouTube or else it's on the ANJAC site. I think it's on YouTube.
All of our renewal for Anjac was mailed in, so all of you should have gotten an email from them. It would be new for you. You did get it. Excellent. Okay, great.
Another item that came to my attention today, I got an email from the Food and Water Watch. So they're fighting to pass the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act, which will make the biggest fossil fuel companies in the world pay for damage caused by climate change. They would like us, or they would like people to call Speaker Coughlin and urge him to move the Superfund Act forward on March 10th. So
You want to go ahead and read the phone number?
the phone number is 1-888-724-8946. And the instructions tell the Assembly Majority Office, I'm calling to urge Speaker Coughlin to make New Jersey more affordable and more resilient by giving the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act a hearing and vote on March 10th. I'll forward this email to everybody.
I think they're getting a lot of phone calls because when I called, she was like, okay, thanks. Like,
Oh.
she didn't even want me to say the whole thing.
Oh, you called? Okay, good.
So,
That's great.
yeah.
And I also found a resolution in support of this act. This one is from New Brunswick, is it? I have the sample resolution here, so it's something we might want to think about. This is North Brunswick, yes.
When is the vote, though, on that Superfund Act?
March 10th. I
So we
believe.
have time, but it's had to be fast.
Oh, yeah, we don't have much time.
Yeah. Because when's the next town council meeting? Not for 2 weeks, which might be March 10th.
Can we do anything, like, can we do this kind of stuff over email? If we just, like,
I think that's
Yeah.
a violation of sunshine laws.
open meetings.
Open
quorum.
Meetings Act or, oh,
I-
yeah, the 10th
Oh.
is the Monday and the next town council is the 11th.
I know they're having a protest or big rally in Trenton for that Superfund legislation. And it's right around the 10th.
Yes, that's what it says. P.S. We'll be in Trenton on March 10th, no matter what, to keep pushing for the act. So it might not, we might have time because it might not,
Okay.
it might not go through.
All right, you want to
by then.
forward me the model
Yes.
amendment and we'll go from there.
I'll do that.
Okay.
And can I just mention that last week or last time we had a meeting, Jenna Black is the AmeriCorps Watershed Ambassador for the Wallkill Watershed. She is organizing an Appalachian Trail boardwalk cleanup on Saturday, March 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. if anyone wants to go. So it's Saturday, March 15th from 10 to 12, and it's at the Appalachian Trail boardwalk.
Oh, cool.
I can just pass the flyer down if anyone wants to
Okay.
see it.
Thank you. That's nice that she's doing that.
Lovely.
All right, anything else for the good of Sparta or the environment?
I go to Breckenridge, Colorado, and Summit County is extremely diligent about cleaning up their environment there and making it no plastics, no waste, to where you go on the mountain and ski, and they don't even use plastic paper cups
Wow.
anymore. They're using China, and you put it back, you can't, there's no to go at all. I was gonna pick up some things from out there, some of the things that they've done. It's really kind of amazing that people, and Colorado's been pretty diligent about it for quite a while. But I mean, from year to year, the amount of progress that they make is amazing.
Wow, yeah,
So I'll bring some things back that we can do here, because there's, I mean, to-go cups, a lot of people do promote, bring coffee cups, bring in your own coffee, we'll make it for you
yeah,
in your own cups.
Yep.
Because that's just, they're very diligent, so I thought, just thought I'd pick some stuff up and bring it.
great. Love that.
Oh, that brings to mind another thing. I was in Texas over the weekend, and I couldn't help but notice all the garbage on the side of the roads. They must not have a plastic bag ban, although they do have a plastic straw ban, which is interesting. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moving forward.
All right,
One
do
straw
we
at a
have
time.
a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Thanks,
second.
Rob. Thanks, Christine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, nice to meet you.